Hello, I'm Rico Caveglia, and this is your Ageless Body Self-Care Guide, Operations Manual for your body and for your mind. And the title of today's session is Functional Fitness. And I'm actually doing this one solo. I'm going to interview myself. And so I want to begin, also take this opportunity to really congratulate you for being here and for investing in this program and investing in your health and taking the responsibility to create good health for all of your life. I'm sure you know that our health is our true wealth. It's our most important asset. If you don't have good health and lots of energy and feel good, nothing else is really going to matter in your life. And in order to be highly successful in every aspect of your life, you need to be healthy, you need to be energetic, you need to be able to move well, and you need to feel good, and you want to feel good about yourself mentally and physically. So that's what this whole project is all about, is to help you to learn how to take care of yourself so you can get and stay healthy and energetic all of your life, so you can go out and make a bigger difference in the world. We need everybody to do that. We need you to do that. And so thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and congratulations again. Now, and also I want to take this opportunity to again remind you that all of the experts that I've chosen for this project are people that I know that are really on top of it. You know, they have the latest scientific proven information. They're people that you can trust, and that everything that we offer you is I promise you that if you follow these recommendations, you will greatly improve your overall health and well-being. And these are people that truly care about your health, and they care about the health of the planet and helping to create a healthier world for all of us. So that's what this is all about. Now, we've had several interviews under the category of fitness, some on movement and yoga and all different aspects. There's so many different ways that you can move and get fit. And we had a great interview just about fitness with my good friend, Deborah Atkinson. She's been a fitness coach and trainer and guru and author for almost as long as I have. And we had a great conversation, and she gave us a lot of her good insights. But again, I think maybe it's always, she mostly works with women. So we got a good women's perspective on fitness. So now I want to give you mine, and I want to add some things because as you know too, there's so much information and misinformation about fitness and exercise and every aspect of wellness out there. So it's quite confusing, you know, what are the best exercises? You know, what are best exercise routines for this or for that, or for weight loss, or for energy, or what equipment should you use? And it's very confusing for anybody. So I want to give you the latest up-to-date information so you've got the right scoop on what you really need to do. And also I want to let you know too that fitness science, exercise physiology and exercise science is just exploding to it. We're learning so many more things. So I want to keep you up to date on some of the latest studies of things that have really moved us in another direction of what some of the old trends and things that people thought this is what you had to do. We now know that that's not the best things to do. So I'm going to give you some updates on that. And I'm actually going to go through some of the kind of an outline, some of the concepts in my ebook, which is called Real Food, Real Fast. And you can get a copy of that and get all the information there. It's on my main website, agelessliving.lifestyle.com, and all my ebooks there are only $7, so you can't go wrong with that. So this book, Real Fit, Real Fast, it's really about give you the overall understanding of what fitness really is and what you really need to do to get fit. And again, this is not for if you're trying to be a competitive athlete. It's not about bodybuilding. It's not about boot camps or beating yourself up. It's about doing all the basic things that you need to do, breathing, improving your balance and your flexibility and your posture and your strength and your I said flexibility and your aerobic capacity, your heart capacity, so that you can function well and be healthy and energetic all of your life. And it's what I teach most of my clients these days. It's called functional fitness. It means doing things that are going to help you to function better in your daily life. That makes sense to me, doesn't it? Yeah, I think so. So we're going to talk about what you need to do to be functionally fit. So let's talk just a little bit here about fitness testing. You know, I'm not a big fan of testing. A lot of these guidelines are really subjective, and I don't think they apply to a lot of different people. For instance, on all the body fat test, it still goes by, they do take all the measurements, but then they put it in these charts that are based on age. And that doesn't make any sense. Just because you're older, that doesn't mean, when they measure your body fat, that's how much body fat you have, you know. It shouldn't be based on what your age is, how they're going to project what your body fat is. So there's a lot of these tests that don't mean something, but there's some few basic tests that I came up with that you should be able to pass this easily. And if you can't, then you really need to get busy. Okay, so actually I got a little bit ahead of myself. I wanted to give my definition of what is physical fitness. So I'm going to read this out of my book. Physical fitness is a primary component of good health and well-being. And I am defining what individual physical fitness as having the physical strength, endurance, flexibility, and balance in order to meet your daily challenges and your opportunities that come to you in your work and your play. Again, in other words, you want to be fit enough to do whatever you need to do in all aspects of your life. So that's the definition of my definition of physical fitness. All right, back to the fitness testing. Okay, so there's 3 basic tests. There's a cardiovascular fitness test, there's a flexibility test, and a strength. Those are the 3 major components of an overall fitness program. So cardiovascular fitness, or aerobic fitness, you should be able to walk a mile, a flat course, like on a high school or a college track, outdoor track, in at least 15 minutes. You know, most schools have a track, so you can go out there and time yourself. Now, if you can't walk at a pretty good clip for 1 mile in 15 minutes, you definitely need to get on it. But the good thing is, just start going out there and push a little bit harder each time, and pretty soon you'll get there, and then you'll be going a lot better. You actually, to be really fit, you should be able to walk it in about 12 minutes. So now I want to tell you something about cardiovascular fitness that's going to go against what we've always thought was so important, all this aerobic exercise and aerobic training. The latest scientific studies have shown that all this long-term jogging or running for miles and miles and for hours is not actually very healthy for you. It's not actually very good for you. And in particular, it's not actually that good for trying to lose extra weight or reduce your body fat. What they found is like a slow jog actually can, just continuously slowly jogging can actually slow your metabolism down. That's why so many people have been jogging for miles and miles for years and not getting anywhere with it, you know. So that's why you've heard of interval training has come in to be so popular. And interval training is where that, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Okay, so, and here's another thing I want you to know, and I've never heard anybody else really talk about this, but here's an important thing. Think about our heart. Our heart is the strongest, most endurance muscle in our whole body. It's a totally endurance muscle. We don't have to train the heart for endurance, unless, like say, if you're competing in an athletic event, that's another story. That's another story. You can go out and do some endurance training. But just to be healthy, we don't need to train the heart to be in endurance. Think about it like this. Your heart, if you live to be 80, say, and your average heart rate maybe is 70 beats or so per minute, your heart's going to beat like 4 billion times over the course of your life. And that's even if you don't speed it up and do any much training. So it could be a lot more. It could be 5 billion times without stopping. Just keep beating. That's a pretty good endurance muscle, when you say. So we don't need to train the heart by doing lots of long jogs or runs or miles and all that. Unless, now don't get me wrong, if you like to run, and actually if you can run with good posture and your head up and move fluidly, and you like to run and maybe you want to compete in a race, that's fine, you know. But one thing though about running though, I just hate to see people running on asphalt and on the concrete, which mostly they do. when you could be running and you're just beating your joints up. If you can, run at the beach, run on dirt, run on a running track, run on at the park on grass, and barefoot if possible. It's so much better running barefoot. It's called earthing, where you're getting the magnetic energy and frequencies from Mother Earth into your body. It's so good to go out barefoot and walk on the natural ground. But if you're going to run, try not to run on asphalt and concrete. You're just beating your body up. Okay, so to strengthen your heart, what your heart needs to be trained is to withstand a stressful situation. The old term, if a saber-toothed tiger's chasing you, you better be able to run fast. Or if you got to defend yourself or whatever, sometimes you have to push something out, hard away to get out of something. Or it could be an emotional stress, or it could be any kind of physical, emotional stress that your heart has to start beating real fast to get the blood into your muscles, because you have to move fast or whatever you need to do at the time. That's what you need to strengthen your heart for. And again, that's what interval training is. It's pushing really hard for 30 seconds up to a minute, and then resting, let your heart rate come back down, and then you do it again. That's how you train your heart. So that's really, truly cardiovascular fitness. All right. Okay, that was kind of a long-winded talk about the test, wasn't it? Okay, flexibility. This is really a basic one, but these are all things that you can just do. You don't need any help, or you don't need anybody there to measure anything. It's just to lay flat on your back, or your legs out, and put your arms all the way over your head, and lay them flat on the ground. So you should be able to lay the back of your arms and your hands on the floor. If not, that means you really need to work on the flexibility of your shoulders, okay? And then the other thing is, then you sit up like to a 90-degree angle with your legs straight, and then you bend forwards, and you should be able to touch your toes. So if you can't touch your toes, that means you got a lot of stretching to do to get those hamstrings and lower back a lot more flexible. So you should be able to lay your arms back flat on the ground, and you should be able to sit up and touch your toes for flexibility. The good thing about stretching routines, if you just stretch on a regular basis, which we need to do every day, we'll talk about that in a minute, it's going to come really fast. It'll come. You definitely will improve your flexibility pretty quickly if you just take the time to do it. It doesn't take that long. Okay, and then the third test is to test your strength. And this is just a basic push-ups. Push-ups is kind of called the granddaddy of all exercises, just like the bench press, where you're using your chest and your arms. So just basic push-up. You have to know how to do a push-up in the right form. I have some videos that show you how to do that. Well, I might make that a bonus for this program. But anyway, you should be able to do regular push-ups, men push-ups. You should be able to do 20 of them, and women can do them with their knees bent. You should be able to do 20 push-ups, fairly easy, and know that you could do more. And if you can do that, then at least you got a baseline of fitness. Then you can go on from there. But if you can't do even 20 real push-ups, yeah, you make your fist, put it on the floor, on the ground, and come down and touch your chest. That's how low you need to go, and then push yourself all the way back up. So that's the basic thing. You need to walk a mile in 15 minutes. You need to be able to touch your toes, and you need to be able to do 20 push-ups. That's just a real basic guideline. So if you can pass that, at least you're on the way. You got a little base of fitness. Now notice these guidelines don't say anything about age. Well, it did about gender as far as the push-ups. Women can do knee push-ups, and men full up on push-ups. But the reason that everything else doesn't have anything to do with male or female is because, like most all the other tests, they have it for men and have it for women. Think about this. Either you're fit or you're not. What does that matter if you're a man or a woman? Either men or women should be able to walk a mile in 15 minutes. Either a man or woman should be able to do 20 push-ups. And either if you're a man or a woman, you should be able to touch your toes and lay your arms back. So you either have a basic level of flexibility, cardiovascular strength and physical strength, or you don't. So it doesn't matter if either you're fit or you're not. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. Now, I want to also really encourage you that you should really get evaluated by a qualified either a sports medicine doctor or a physical therapist or a chiropractor to assess any, any current or potential postural or structural problems that may limit your initial, uh, when you start an exercise program. So sometimes if you've got a lot of imbalances and your alignment's not good, or you have some joint problems, the exercises you may start doing may make it actually worse. So you need to get evaluated first to make sure that you can get that alignment and posture and joint health in control before you do any really strenuous exercise. And then, of course, I highly recommend uh, you consult with a really qualified, experienced personal trainer to learn safe and effective techniques that are really going to work for you. I can go to any gym and I see people just doing all kinds of exercises. And first of all, quite often they're not doing it in the proper way. They're not doing it effectively. They're usually doing it too fast and not with good posture. So they're not getting an efficient amount of work out of their time. And then the other thing is, a lot of people are just doing exercises because that's the exercises that are there, and they don't even know if that's really what they should be doing to suit their particular needs and challenges and goals. So that's why it's good to just at least get started with invest in a good personal trainer to get you started, so you'll be doing the right exercises that are suitable for you to achieve your own personal goals. I hope that makes sense to you. It's be a great investment. Most people don't just go invest their money in the stock market, or you don't try and defend yourself legally, or you don't try and diagnose yourself physically. You get an expert to help you. So it's the same with your fitness. Get an expert to help you. It'll be a great investment. So now let's talk about all the excuses people have for not exercising. So many people I know have started exercise and haven't stuck with it. But they always got these excuses. And of course, the biggest one of all, well, I'm just so busy right now, I don't have time. What I like to say to people, it's a little harsh. All right, if you don't have time to exercise, yeah, you better get busy, because you're probably going to end up unfortunately, like most Americans, you're going to get old and sick and die way too young. So you are running out of time if you're so busy you don't have to take time to exercise. I can assure you that some of the most busy and successful people take time to exercise, because I've worked with a lot of really high-end CEOs and people that are extremely busy and successful, but they know that taking the time to exercise, it's going to make them more productive and they're going to be more successful. So it's just a bad excuse, because it's actually the worst excuse of all, because first of all, we all have the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours a day, right? It's all about managing your time. And again, if the majority of the most successful, busy, and healthy people take time to exercise, doesn't it make sense that that's what you should be doing as well? So don't use that excuse for don't have time. Now I know if maybe you have children and you've got a business, and it's difficult. It's no question, but you can do it. You can find time. You can look at your schedule, and there's times during your day where you're just wasting time or doing something that's not really productive, like watching TV, maybe watching the nightly news, totally unproductive. Since I mentioned it, I just got to say, I have a saying, if you live with the news, you live with the blues. So you don't need to watch the nightly news. You could be doing a little exercise. You can always find ways to get exercise, incorporate into your day. So don't use that as an excuse. Really, if you say you don't have time to exercise, what you're really saying is, well, I don't really, I guess being healthier and having lots of energy and looking my best and feeling really good, it's not that important to me. What's really important is just how much money I can make. And what good does that do? We have the saying in the I guess in the holistic or health industry, or in the fitness industry, so many people spend all their time making, or I'm sorry, they spend their health building their wealth, and then they have to spend their wealth to try and rebuild their health. That's not a good formula. So you can definitely find some time, okay? Now, some people will say, well, exercising is not fun, you know, I don't like it. I never liked to exercise. Well, I don't know where that came from. That's something that was learned, because what are the young of most all species, including human beings, doing? They're jumping, running, playing, having a great time, moving their body. That's why their body is for is to move it. And they're having fun moving their body. And why we lose that? We get too serious. We think all these other things are so important, and we don't learn, you know, how to take care of our body. Well, that's that's a good interlude right into, again, that's what this whole self-care guide is all about, you know, is how to take the best care of your body, and moving it is one of the most important. So good for your brain, so good for everything in your body. If you don't move, you're not going to be healthy and energetic, and you're not going to live too long, you know. So now, if it's not fun, well, think about this now. Everything can be fun. It's just always a perspective of what's fun and what's not fun. Think about uh, breathing. Is breathing fun? You probably never thought about that. But what's really not fun? If you can't breathe, right? So breathing is fun. Whenever you can breathe, that's fun. That feels good. But the most unfun thing in the world is not being able to breathe, right? So look at it that way. Everything is fun, you know. Everything can be fun. Uh, be able to just look and see. That's fun, isn't it? Be able to hear music. Just everything can be fun. Moving your body, learning, working, talking, everything can be fun if you look at it that way. As well as exercising can be fun. So you just have to reframe what you think is fun. And now here's what I tell clients. So there's still some people who just never been into exercising or playing sports or moving their body that much, and they don't like to. So I say, okay, if you don't think this exercising is fun, just stick with me and let's do it for 90 days. And you're going to feel so much better. You're going to look so much better. You're going to have so much more energy. And guess what? You're going to be able to have a lot more fun. So even if you don't think it's fun, you're going to have a lot more fun in your life, I guarantee you, by getting yourself fit. And then again, a lot of people say, well, I don't have the energy, I'm too tired. Well, think about this. The majority of people these days are working in an office, right? So at the end of the day, you feel tired. Well, why do you feel tired? Your muscles aren't tired. If you're a construction worker, you've been working all day. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're tired. You don't need to do any physical exercise. You need to do some stretching and some breathing and some things like yoga or something. But you've done a lot of physical movement and exercise, keep your muscles strong and sweat and burn off fat. But if you're just sitting in front of a computer all day or on the phone, like most people, the reason you're tired is because our brain uses about 25% of our energy, all of our energy expenditure, and it burns a lot of blood sugar to run our brain. But so the metabolism, the waste from the metabolism of burning that energy creates lactic acid, just like physical movement. But if you're not moving and breathing and sweating, you're not getting rid of that lactic acid. So at the end of the day, boy, you feel tired, you feel exhausted, you know. But all you need to do, guess what? It's just go out and do some physical activity, some movement. Just even if you went for a 20-minute walk, go out for a good power walk, go for a swim, ride a bike, go dancing, do something where you're breathing and moving. You'll blow all that old lactic acid out and you'll revive yourself. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to enjoy your evening. And you could do some more exercise as well. But the other thing is, here's the other tip is for this, is that I highly recommend, if at all possible, get your main exercise session done in the morning before you start your day. Because first of all, it's a good way to get your day started, so you'll be energized and you'll be awake and alive and movement and ready to have a powerful day, but also you've got it done. And if you don't have time to do anything else later on, you already got that part done. See, it's so easy to say, well, okay, I'm going to exercise today at 5 o'clock or after I get off work or whatever. But then things always come up, or you don't feel good, or some friend says you got to do this, or something else comes up, and then you don't get the session in. So get it done in the early morning if all possible. But if nothing else, just go out for a walk. That make a lot of sense? It makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. And then there's other ones, I don't really know what to do. I'm afraid of injuring myself. And that is really a lame excuse as well. These days, there is absolutely no excuse for not learning and knowing about everything, right? I mean, we have Dr. Google. I mean, anything you want to know, you just Google it. And especially in the fitness and exercise area, there's just everything you can think of. There's all kind of classes, exercise classes and muscle building classes, and there's so much things you can find out online. Now, I'm not saying that's all you should do. Obviously, as I just said, it would be better to at least get started with a personal trainer that can make some specially just for you, because we all need the basic trainings, but we need to know how to do which ones exercises and ways and progressions that'll work best for you, depending on your needs and goals. But there's no lack of knowledge and information out there. So that's not an excuse at all. So again, you've just got to get out there and start to do it. And if you are a little bit, afraid you might injure yourself or you got this and that, again, a good personal trainer can develop a program that will help you. And again, this is not about doing a boot camp or beating yourself up or doing a triathlon or running marathons, which actually is not good for your body. It's actually aging you. I mean, it can just be learning to walk better, or go dancing, or do more gardening, or hiking, or do yoga, or breathing. Just something that's going to really improve your overall health and well-being and be able to help you to do what you want to do in your life. So now the other things is, all these years being a personal trainer, and all the amazing benefits of getting yourself fit and moving your body every day. And so we always wonder, why do so many people have a struggle sticking with an exercise program? Well, we already talk about some of those excuses, but we already know those aren't valid, right? But still, why do they do it? So what I finally came up and realized was, I think so many people have a little disconnect between your spiritual self and your physical self, and really in reality they're one and the same. It's my belief and many others that we are all eternal spiritual beings, and that we're here on this planet for a short time with this physical body in order to accomplish. We're here with a purpose, and we're here to live that purpose and to become the best person that we can be and help to make a difference in the world. And our physical body is our vehicle to do just that. It's a vehicle it's a storehouse for our brain and our mind and our spirit, so that we can not only enjoy all these physical things that there are to enjoy, but to learn and to grow and to learn how we can create a much peaceful and healthier and just an amazing world for everybody here on planet. So that's what it's all about. Okay, so when you realize that you are here with a purpose, and that you have the talents and abilities to do something really great that nobody else can do. There's some things you can do better than anybody else. So when you realize that your true nature is a spiritual self that doesn't die, but this body's going to die. But while you're here with this physical body, you need to keep it as healthy and as energetic as possible, so you can be as successful as possible in every aspect of your life, and also just to be able to really enjoy your life, all of your life. We're not meant to be here to struggle, to be sick and have all these problems. I mean, we're going to have challenges, yes, but life's not supposed to be a continual struggle. It's supposed to be exhilarating and just exciting and learning and growing and creating. But you got to have a healthy body, and you can. Okay, so the way to connect, now I'm really going to really get into that too much, but basically I think everybody knows about meditation these days. That's really one of the best ways to slow down all this constant chatter in our mind that's making us all stressed out and wondering if we can do this or we can't do this or we haven't got time and what's my life about, and that's what creates illness as well. So slow down to quiet your mind, to connect to your higher self, to your spiritual self, and that's how you get to begin to start to connect to your spiritual self and realize that connection, and then that the deeper you can go, then you realize that everything you need to know and do, you already know. Your higher self knows. So once you connect to that, that's going to really help you to how you should be living your life, and it makes such a huge difference. So I highly recommend, again, you take some yoga classes or meditation classes. That'll make a big difference in your life for sure. Now, because that was key number one of how to have a successful, consistent lifetime wellness program, fitness program. So number two key is you got to match your fitness level with your desired lifestyle. See, again, that's the most important thing. People are just doing stuff, but they don't even know why they're doing it or what they do. So you need to be clear on what you want. If you only need to be fit enough just so you can at least pass those basic tests I gave you, and maybe just so you could walk and maybe play with your grandkids, if that's the thing, or maybe just do some basic stuff, simple stuff, that's fine. But if you want to be more active, if you want to climb mountains and swim across in the ocean or do different things, then you got to be a little more fit. So you have to know what you want to do, and then you can develop a program that will get you to be able to do what you need to do. That makes sense? So that's why you need to get some help. You want to develop a fitness level that matches your desired lifestyle, okay? And then the key number three is just to be consistent. It's all about perseverance. Albert Einstein, he said he was really a brilliant guy, not only in science, but he was a real spiritual person as well. And he said a lot of the cool sayings are from Einstein, and he's the one who said that persistence is genius. So you got to be persistent. You got to be consistently. Again, you don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to go to boot camps. You don't have to work out for an hour every day and all this stuff. You just got to be consistent and that will get you where you need to be. Okay. And of course, the other thing is it's good to get started. How to get started is to have some goals. Get an evaluation. Have some goals, have to know what you really want to achieve and why you want to achieve them. So let's talk a little bit about that. Here's something that's real important that, again, I don't hear that many people talking about. We always hear about goals need to be, you need to have short-term and long-term goals, and they got to be specific, and they got to be measurable, and they got to be attainable, and they got to be something, whether recordable, all those things. All those things are fine, but here's the real key to being able to achieve a goal. In order to be really successful in achieving your goals, you have to tie your goals to what's truly important in your life. What your core values are, what's really important. In other words, so here's the perfect example. Trying to lose weight, which most people that I work with or come to, they always want to lose weight, is the worst goal in the world. Because first of all, if that was really easily to achieve with the $100 billion plus weight loss industry in America, we should be the trimmest, leanest, healthiest country in the world, and yet we're the fattest, most unhealthy country in the world. So weight loss, see, nobody really wants to even think about weight loss or deal with it, or that's not something that's important. It's just that they're not happy with the way they look, or they know it's not healthy for them. But see, then you have to dig down. I have a process called the 7 whys. So if you say, I want to lose weight, you have to say, well, why do I want to lose weight? And at first you might just say something superficial like, so I'll be more attractive. Well, why do you want to be more attractive? Oh, well, maybe I'll get more friends, or maybe I'll do better in my business. Well, why do you want to do that? So you keep drilling down, and what it usually comes down to is something to do with your family. You know, you want to be a real good role model for your children, right? You don't want to let yourself go and get unhealthy and die too young. Also, you want to be around to enjoy your children and your grandchildren. And you want to be a good role model for them, and you want to be able to be healthy so you can take care of them. So that's usually what it comes down to. But you got to tie your goals. So why do you want to get fitter now? Why do you need to be fit? And when you really tie it down, then that's your goal. The goal is, I want to get my body as healthy and as fit and as energetic as possible, you know, and I want to look and feel good and live a long life. That's your goal. And doing the exercise to reduce your body fat, that's just a tool. That's just something that you do, but that's not your goal. And again, the other example of that is, you know, what's the number one New Year's resolution? I'm going to lose weight. And nobody sticks with it. So why even think about it? So I tell people to totally forget about losing weight. And what you really want to focus on is getting the healthiest, fittest, energetic body that's just right for you. I think that'll be a really helpful for you. Okay, so a basic exercise format. You always want to warm up at least for 5-10 minutes, you know, whether it's on a stationary bike or just walking or doing some basic warm up. You know, I have my exercise stick called the Vitality Stick, where we do a whole complete warm-up routine, loosen up all the joints and muscles and movements. So do some sort of a movement 5 to 10 minutes before you jump into any kind of a strenuous exercise. And really, the best warm-up for any exercise that you're going to do is just doing that thing slow. So if you're going to play tennis, you should just swing your racket in both hands, moving slow. Or if you know, whatever you're going to do, if you're going to run or even walk, just start off slowly and then pick it up the pace. Okay, so you got to warm up. And then again, remember there's 3 things. There's aerobic cardiovascular exercise, there's flexibility, and then there's strength. So aerobic exercise, I've already talked a little bit about that, about what kind of exercise you need to do. You don't need to do long bouts. These days, you can only need to do 15 to 20 minutes of an appropriate interval training that suits you. And that actually speeds your metabolism up more than a whole hour of just jogging. But again, it just depends. You know, really highly intense interval training is not really very functional for the average person who's not very fit. That's really more for people who are already fit. But you can modify it and do some interval training that's just going to work for you. So again, get some help. So you start off doing things in the right way, and then you can develop from there. But the main thing is just to keep moving. Now here's an interesting study. There was a big study recently at a major university, and so it's a very reputable study. Where I don't recall the exact details of how many people there were and all that, but the control group, that two control groups, and they did it for I think it was like 6 weeks. And the one group, they did 1 hour every day of highly intense exercise. The other group, they didn't do that, but they just kept moving. They didn't sit too long. They just kept moving and moving throughout their day and keep movement going. And guess what? At the end of the study, the group that just kept moving lost more weight and felt better and were more energized than the people who were working out really hard at 1 hour a day. So what that shows us is, again, as I mentioned, you don't need to do long, really hard bouts of exercise unless you're training for a sport or something like that, okay? You don't need to do that. You just need to keep moving. You don't need to beat yourself up, but keep moving throughout your day. You probably, by now, you've heard that saying that sitting is the new smoking. You know, that's how bad it is. We used to think that sitting too much was just, you know, give you bad posture and back stiff and all that. But then there's been medical studies that show that, you know, sitting too long, the blood pools in your legs and puts stress on your heart, and it really slows your metabolism and causes all kinds of problems in your body. So you got to get up and move, just do some movements, you know, walk or do some stretches, some you know, dancing, moving, just move your body on a regular basis, and you're going to be a lot healthier, and you're actually going to burn more body fat. So But I do recommend that you do, as far as frequency, you do something every day. Like I said, keep moving every day, and maybe every other day you can go out and do a little bit more of more of a scheduled type of aerobic activity, whether it's walking or swimming or riding your bike or dancing or whatever. Okay, do something every day, but do different ones. Don't do the same thing every day. Okay. And then as far as duration, again, you only have to do something like this for about 20 minutes. You know, the old days about being in the gym for an hour or more hours, you don't have to do that. You're just really kind of wasting your time, and you're actually prematurely aging yourself. So get in there and get it done. If you're going to the gym, or if you're riding a stationary bike, or if you're in a class, or if you're going out and walking, 20 minutes is all you really need to do. I mean, you can do more if you want, if you have time. Okay. And then the intensity just really depends on your current level of fitness. But try and do things as intense as possible that you're able to, and then you can progress. Now, as far as muscle strengthening, you only need to do that two to 3 times per week. And if you're, as we age, if you're over 50, you're getting up there, 50s, 60s, you know, we don't recover nearly as fast. Don't forget, when you're actually doing some strength resistance training, you're actually making micro tears in your muscles. You're kind of tearing your muscles down, and then they realize, oh, we need to get stronger. So then they repair, and you get a little bit stronger, but you need more time to recover. So I recommend, as we age, at least 2 to 3 days in between strength training workouts. So if you're working a particular muscle group pretty strenuously, in your workout, you need at least a couple days, you know, to give it to rest before you do that again. So break it up. You know, you only need to get in 2 good muscle strengthening, upper body, lower body. And again, there's all different ways to break it up. You can do push muscles one day, you can do pull muscles, you can do upper body, lower body. But again, get some help. Get a trainer, so you'll develop a program that's going to work for you. And again, you only need to do this something, you know, 20, 30 minutes. And then if you're in the gym, get out of there. If you're outside, you don't need to spend hours to do all this stuff, okay? And one more tip, this is a saying I always tell all my clients: slower is harder and slower is safer. And by slow, I mean whatever exercise. If you're doing a bicep curl, do it slow, pull up strong, and then just take it down slow. Or anything you're doing, any kind of exercise you're doing, muscle, doing slow. We see people in the gyms, they're always doing things fast and all this. And it's just momentum, and you're not getting near the benefit. So you want to get the benefit on the as you're pushing or pulling or lifting whatever resistance, whether it's your own body or whether it's a weight. But as you release on the eccentric part, then you want to go slow, so you'll get some resistance there as well. So again, slower is harder and slower is safer. You don't have to do near as many reps. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so just a couple other little tips, again, is to kind of sum it up. Don't forget, there's a PDF that comes with all of your video trainings. You get the audio, you get a transcript of what we all have said, and then there's a summary and some basic tips from the basics. So we'll have a summary of this as well. So you'll get the basic ideas and tips in our summary, so you don't have to, although if you took some notes today, that'd be good as well. And of course, you can also, you know, get that, my book, Real Fit, Real Fast, has all this stuff in there. So just really basically here to sum it up is make sure you have your goals set to what's really important to you. You know, get some help, get some evaluations first, then get a good qualified personal trainer to at least get you started. Start slowly. Remember, this is something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. It's not something you do for a little while and then think you don't have to do it anymore. You've got to keep taking care of your body all of your life. Don't compare yourself with other people, especially if you're in a class. Just do what's right for you. If you can, get, you know, a family member or a friend to do it with you. It's always good to have their support. And then reward your successes. You know, reward yourself in whatever ways you can, and really have the mindset that, you know, and this is the best thing. This is why I've always loved my profession, is that everything that we teach, if you just do it, you're going to get results. You know, most any other kind of course on any kind of thing, where it's business or anything else, you don't really know what the outcome's going to be. Just because it worked for somebody else, it doesn't necessarily going to work for you or your unique stuff. But that's not true with fitness. Everybody, if you stretch, you're going to get more flexible, right? If you do some resistance training, you're going to get stronger. If you do some aerobic, some cardiovascular training, your heart's going to get stronger. Your lungs are going to get stronger. You can't fail. So, the only summary I'm going to give you right here is, you don't need to know any more than, Nike's famous saying, just do it. You just got to get started. That's an easy thing. Take the first step, get started. And I promise you, that's why I tell all my clients as well, if you stick with it, a proper exercise program on a consistent basis for 90 days, you're going to get so much significant improvement that you're going to feel better, you're going to look better, and that's going to really motivate you, inspire you to keep with it. So again, when it comes to fitness, you just have to do it. And I promise you, it's going to make your life so much better. You're going to be able to accomplish so much more. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. And most likely, you're going to live longer. That's it. Just get fit and go out and do it. Thanks for being here.